Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story this hour. Pakistan's cabinet meet has concluded and no decision was taken on MasoodAzhar. Remember, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan was to decide on whether or not to arrest the JEM chief MasoodAzhar at this meet. The decision will now likely be taken at another high-level meeting scheduled for later today. Meanwhile, Wion's Anas Malik put forth a pointed question to the spokesman of Pakistan's Foreign Ministry on MasoodAzhar, and this is what he said.
Foreign Minister recently made a statement with regards to the UN listing of MasoodAzhar that Pakistan will have to take its decisive decision by the 12th of March. Yesterday we saw the Chinese State Councillor as well in his visit. So has there been any decision in that?
MasoodAzhar, the decision will be taken in our national interest.
The focus now shifts to a high-level meeting that Imran Khan is to chair later today. MasoodAzhar failed to figure as a point of discussion in the cabinet meeting due to the absence of the Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi. The heads of the three military services and the ISI will participate in today's high-level meeting. It follows recommendations by Pakistan's Interior Ministry that the JEM chief MasoodAzhar be arrested. The big question now is, will Imran Khan give his consent for MasoodAzhar's arrest? The arrest could have major law and order implications for Pakistan. Amid mounting pressure from the global community, Jaish-e-Mohammed chief MasoodAzhar's son and brother were among 44 members of banned terrorist outfits taken into preventative detention on Tuesday by Pakistan. Local administration in Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, have taken control of mosques and over 182 seminaries run by banned outfits. 121 people have been detained from the various parts of Pakistan in the ongoing crackdown against banned outfits yesterday. As per reports, several people have been arrested as the Imran Khan government intensifies operations against proscribed organizations in Pakistan. The operation is being carried out under the National Action Plan, which Pakistan's State Minister for Interior said would continue until its objectives are met. At least 25 mosques of the Jamaat-ud-Dawa, the Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation and other banned outfits have been taken over by the government. Most of these mosques are located on the outskirts of Islamabad, where local administration has appointed new imams and made several arrests. The crackdown by the Pakistani law enforcement agencies against banned outfits and other effective measures came into effect following a high-level meeting by the Imran Khan government amid efforts to lower the simmering tensions between Pakistan and India. French envoy to India, Alexander Ziegler, has said that the country would push for the designation of JEM chief MasoodAzhar as a global terrorist at the UN Security Council. Reiterating that France has been doing the same for the last 2 years, he said that not designating Azhar as a global terrorist does not make any sense.
We believe that there should be no tolerance, absolutely no tolerance for terrorism anywhere in the world. So yes, one of our key priorities as new president of the Security Council is to put this global fight against terrorism at the center of our work. And well, yes, we'll push for the designation of MasoodAzhar as a terrorist at the United Nations. We've been actually pushing for that for the past 2 years because there can't be any meaning in the situation where the leader of a group that has been designated as a terrorist group should not be designated by the United Nations. It just doesn't make sense.
Ziegler also stated that France strongly believes that there should not be any tolerance towards terrorism. Speaking about the IAF airstrike in Balakot, he said that France recognized the legitimacy of India to ensure its security across border terrorism. The French envoy also lauded Pakistan's move to release Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartman. He emphasized that the easing of tensions between the two nuclear-armed countries was a sigh of relief.
Country like ours that have been hit by terrorism of course we recognize the legitimacy to India to assure its security against cross-border terrorism. Having said that, we very most welcomed a couple of days later the release of Wing Commander Abhinandan. I think it's been a gesture of restraint, gesture of responsibility from both government, and the easing of the tension was also a source of a relief for us.
Mumbai attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed has suffered a setback. The UN has rejected his appeal to delist him from its list of banned terrorists. India, France, the US and the UK had opposed the plea of the Lashkar-e-Taiba founder at the world body. Significantly, faced with global outrage, Pakistan did not oppose the UN action. In fact, Pakistan blocked the visa requests of the UN officials who were to interview Hafiz Saeed as part of the process. India had provided detailed evidence of Saeed's terror activities. Saeed, who is also the head of the UN-designated terror organization Jamaat-ud-Dawa, was banned in December 2008 by the United States Security Council after the Mumbai terror attacks. He had filed an appeal with the UN in 2017 while under house arrest in Pakistan. Pakistan has extended the general closure of its airspace for today as well, making it the 7th day in a row now that the country's airspace has been restricted. Today also marks 1 week and a day since Pakistan closed its airspace last Wednesday following tensions with India. Karachi, Peshawar, Quetta, Islamabad, Lahore and Faisalabad airports are the only functioning airports in the country, but even those are subject to routing restrictions. Causing huge economic costs on the country and the airlines, the airspace closure disrupted not just Pakistan's air transport, but flights worldwide as airlines were forced to cancel or reroute flights to other destinations. The closure has disrupted major routes between Europe and Southeast Asia. Many flights to the US and Europe have had to take a longer route and that stretched the travelling time. Pakistan had earlier opened its airspace for commercial flights in phases from the 1st of March. The Indian Air Force has released a statement after Pakistan confirmed that their airspace will be closed for another day. The IAF has reiterated that it is in a high state of preparedness and will proactively engage any perceived threat in the current situation. The Pulwama attack has brought to the fore the women battalion of the CRPF, who were also part of the convoy. Their vehicle was the third behind the bus that was blown up by Jaish-e-Mohammed's suicide bomber. At least 40 CRPF personnel were killed on the 14th of February in Pulwama in one of the deadliest terror attacks on security forces. The bus carrying martyred Jawans was part of the convoy comprising of 78 vehicles of Central Reserve Police Force. Part of the convoy was also the women battalion of the CRPF, who witnessed the gruesome blast right in front of their eyes.
बहुत बड़ा धमाका हुआ सर, काफ़ी बड़ा सर, एकदम आगे की लपटे एकदम ऊपर तक सर, और जो ऐसे डेड बॉडी ऐसे उछल के नीचे गिरी सर, एकदम टुकड़े टुकड़े हो गए सर मेरे सामने एकदम, और कुछ ऐसे घायल हो गए सर, उनको डेड बॉडी उनको लेके जा रहे थे हॉस्पिटल में, एम्बुलेंस आई और काफ़ी भीड़ जमी हुई थी अगल बगल में, काफ़ी भीड़ को एकदम वो लोग भी एकदम महसूस कर रहे ऐसा हुआ तो हुआ कैसे एकदम.
But the fierce women personnel kept their calm and faced terror head-on.
अचानक एकदम से ब्लास्ट हो गया तो शॉक लग गया कि क्या हो गया, ऐसे कुछ सोच ही नहीं पा रहा था कि ऐसा कुछ होगा. फिर सब लोगों ने अपनी अपनी जगह पोजीशन ली. जो हमारे सर लोग थे बाहर उतर के गाड़ी को कॉर्डन के कुछ देर तक फायरिंग चली. फिर जो उसके वजह से हमारी CRPF की गाड़ी उड़ गई थी, मतलब ब्लास्ट हो गया था. तो उस बात को सुन के हमें बहुत बुरा लगा था कि हमारे जवान इतने शहीद हो गए, और फील हुआ उनके लिए. बाकी कोई और डर तो लगा नहीं था क्योंकि हम फौजी हैं. एक दिन तो हमें अगर हम देश के लिए कुछ काम आ रहे तो ये तो हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छी बात है.
Despite the deadly attack, the morale of the women CRPF soldiers is still high, and they are all ready to avenge the killing of the CRPF Jawans.
देश में कोई मनोबल कम नहीं आया है. हम यही चाहते हैं कि हम उग्रवादी से लड़ाई करें और हम उनके बदला जरूर लें, क्योंकि हम एक महिला हुआ तो क्या हुआ, हम उससे किसी से हम कम नहीं है, हम आगे भी लड़ सकते हैं और हमको अभी भी बोलेंगे उन लोग लड़ने के लिए, उग्रवादी के मतलब मिलिट्री के साथ में हम लड़ने के लिए तैयार हैं.
Women from across the country are part of this women battalion. They face problems on personal and professional fronts, but it is their uniform that unites them. Of the 6 women companies of the CRPF, 4 are in Jammu and Kashmir, securing its shrines and key government installations. The threat of sudden violence looms large, but these women continue to secure the country. On to our next story now. Mark Zuckerberg has said that Facebook will soon start to emphasize new privacy-shielding messaging services. In a blog, the Facebook CEO outlined his vision to transform Facebook into a privacy-focused platform. In the past few years, the social media giant has come under fire for a series of privacy scandals. In response, Zuckerberg plans to bring together its Messenger, WhatsApp and Instagram services so that the user will be able to contact each other across all apps. The plan calls for all these apps to be integrated in such a manner so that no one but senders and recipients can see the content of the messages. Zuckerberg also added that encrypted messaging will also create scope for new business tools, especially ones around payments and commerce. But the social media giant did not offer a timeline for his vision, but said that the changes would take place over the next few years. In a welcome move, the government has decided to completely ban the import of plastic waste or scrap into the country. This will be a major step in tackling plastic waste and pollution. India has emerged as one of the world's largest importers of plastic waste. What's more, the country already generates close to 25,940 tons of plastic waste every day. Nearly half, or to be precise, 10,376 tons, remains uncollected and therefore untreated. The problem compounded as India had only partially banned plastic waste and allowed special economic zones to import it. However, companies misuse it and nearly 40% of imported plastic waste remains uncollected, polluting soil and water bodies. Remember, the country lacks the full capacity to recycle such waste. India plans to completely phase out single-use plastic by 2022. NASA has announced that an all-female crew will conduct a spacewalk at the ISS on March the 29th, a historic first. The news comes on the day that the first female U.S. pilot says she was raped while she served in the military.
Like you, I am also a military sexual assault survivor. But unlike so many brave survivors, I didn't report being sexually assaulted. Like so many women and men, I didn't trust the system at the time. I blamed myself. I was ashamed and confused. And I thought I was strong, but felt powerless. The perpetrators abused their position of power in profound ways. And in one case, I was preyed upon and then raped by a superior officer. I stayed silent for many years, but later in my career, as the military grappled with scandals and their wholly inadequate responses, I felt the need to let some people know I too was a survivor. I was horrified at how my attempt to share generally my experiences were handled.
Senator Martha McSally became the U.S. Air Force's first female combat pilot. She made these comments during the Senate Armed Services Subcommittee hearing. The Air Force did not respond to her allegations. McSally's disclosure comes on the heels of the U.S. Army veteran Senator Joanie Ernest saying she had been raped in college by someone that she knew. Israel's Hebrew University unveiled a collection of 110 manuscript pages written by Albert Einstein, many of which, it said, have never been displayed before. They include handwritten mathematical notes, most from 1944 to 1948, and also an appendix which the school said was thought lost to a paper on unified field theory that the German-born physicist presented to the Prussian Academy of Science in 1930. Einstein, who developed the theory of relativity, a pillar of modern science, tried unsuccessfully for decades to prove another concept, that electromagnetism and gravity were different manifestations of a single fundamental field.
Papers reflect the way Einstein was thinking, the way Einstein was working. Most of them, in his handwriting, are mathematical derivations, mathematical calculations with very little text. They are summaries of his thoughts. Whenever something struck him, a new idea, he sat down immediately, scribbled it, looking for its consequences.
Hebrew University said it received the papers as a donation to its 80,000-item Albert Einstein archives from a foundation in Chicago after they were purchased from a private collector in North Carolina. Einstein, who settled in the United States after renouncing his German citizenship when Adolf Hitler came to power, bequeathed his scientific and personal writings to the Hebrew University. Einstein, who won the 1921 Nobel Prize for Physics, died in Jersey in 1955.